NHC Madang explains eviction of families. In Leh, new owner defends property purchase. And Works Minister commits to maintenance and upgrading of roads.
This is the National EMTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for Saturday's news. We begin our bulletin with a story about a protest in Australia related to asylum seekers being displaced in Manus and Nauru. Hundreds of Australians gathered outside the Brisbane City Hall last night in protest of the Australian government's stance against allowing asylum seekers to be brought on shore for processing. In what protest organiser Mark Gillespie told EMTV, there were more than 800 Australians present at the gathering who marched while chanting "Bring them to Australia." Gillespie says more protests would be scheduled starting tonight.
Bring them here, let them stay. Malcolm Turnbull, here I say. Bring them here, let them stay. Bill Shorten, here I say. Bring them here, let them stay. Bill Shorten, here I say.
Here opposing the Australian government's policies, which is to not welcome refugees who come to this country, but to dump them on other countries such as PNG and Nauru. And it's led to a humanitarian crisis in...
Officers of the National Housing Corporation in Madang have evicted 3 families from their homes of over 40 years. The families are now camping outside of their own homes after they were issued a court order to vacate the property. The eviction has also affected their children who were sitting for their national examinations. Moving on, the National Housing Corporation Principal Legal Officer Paul Pera says eviction of tenants are part of their duties and responsibilities, especially when tenants are illegally occupying houses. A court order is provided to police executives to assist in the eviction. Pera says tenants in Madang have outstanding and unpaid overdue rentals.
For these 3 cases alone, we've spent well over 25 to 30,000 kina. That includes airfares, hotel accommodation, and cash, travel allowance. So we are talking about NHC is spending more money trying to evict chronic defaulters who do not appreciate that they are living in NHC houses, which rentals are cheaper than the other real estate companies. So they have failed and they breached the tenancy agreements by not paying up the rentals. So the court order, the district court order was made on the 16th day of February 2017, and that court order was for them to be evicted within 21 days. And failure to voluntarily vacate the property will allow police to enter and give vacant possession to National Housing Corporation. The tenants decided then to go into national court, and they issued proceedings, new proceedings in the national court. But these proceedings were dismissed by the national court, and we have a court order, so we have 2 valid court orders for the eviction. So we have followed proper procedures. We have given them notices, pay up, and people have not helped themselves. So I do not know why tenants are still trying to get sympathy from ordinary Papua New Guineans and other people, because it's straightforward.
Officers of the National Housing Corporation in Madang have evicted 3 families from their homes of over 40 years. The families are now camping outside of their own homes after they were issued a court order to vacate the property. The eviction has also affected their children who are sitting for their national examinations.
This is 46-year-old Michael Banyao. He is one of 3 families evicted last Friday by national housing officers who said they were acting on a national court order. The 3 families have been living in this flat on Section 37, Allotment 11 for more than 40 years. Banyao's parents were ex-public servants in Madang and had moved into this flat in 1978. Until his parents retired and he took over the tenancy to rent in 2014.
NHC been advising me to purchase property is stop on hold. All talking about solo sotomatol areas. 2014 all been give me one all outstanding on areas paying.
Banyao said in 2003 his father had written a letter to NHC requesting the purchase of the flat, but they were told to wait. Again in 2008, they wrote another letter, but were told a land demarcation exercise had to be carried out by the Lands Department and the National Housing Corporation, but nothing ever eventuated. They had engaged a lawyer who had appealed their case at the National Court, but the court threw out the case on the basis that it was an abuse of process on the part of the lawyer representing them.
But we will be NHC and fail big plus threat law or set procedure law as landlord. Lo maintaining more house blooming pla 1. Number 2, give me pla invoices lo toxa lo pla outstanding pla. Number 3, only no been give me pla 3 pla notices before only advice him pla taking legal proceedings.
Another long-time tenant is 95-year-old Pascal Ferreira from East Sepik. He is also an ex-public servant who had moved into this flat on the 26th of September 1975 since he came to Madang. This has been his home for 42 years. He has nowhere to go and had to sleep outside of his only home. This is the 3rd family evicted last Monday. They say they had signed a tenancy agreement on the 30th of August 2010. Based on an agreement with NHC, the family moved into the flat and had to maintain the flat with their own money.
After me satisfied the completion of the maintenance, I'm submitting invoice. Unfortunately, the manager me terminated. And then some invoice play me go. Stop and follow up.
Last year, NHC took out a summons from the district court against the family. The family was supposed to appear at the district court. However, the case was continuously postponed and they were not in the position to know when their next case would be heard. The National Court threw out their case on the basis of abuse of process by the lawyer representing them. Meanwhile, the evicted families are now calling on Housing Minister John Cowper to look into evictions being carried out under the abuse. Martha Louise, National EMTV News, Madang.
Meanwhile, in Lae, Wilson Orako, the buyer of the Buafex property in Lae's 3 Mile area, is claiming that he bought his title from the legal owner and through the correct legal processes. The Buafex family has lived in their 3 Mile home for over 40 years, but on Tuesday they were evicted. It was only then that they found out that the property's title was acquired by a family member and the house had been sold.
The gate to this property remains locked after the Buafek family who live here were forced out earlier this week. They were served an eviction notice and were told the property, which had been theirs for the past 40 years, was sold to a new buyer. The new buyer, Wilson Orako, says he bought the property 7 months ago.
Within the 7 months, several notices, eviction notices were saved to them.
The Boafek's late father acquired this block of land in 1972 and built this property. His 4 children grew up in this home. On Tuesday, the family was forced out.
They were told
the title had been acquired by a family member and was sold.
The legally owned rightful owner is Pilisetsky. He sold the place.
Arako claims his title was obtained through the correct legal processes.
Legal process, the checking was all right, so we bought the place.
There are a number of unresolved cases like this in Leh City. Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Leh.
Second runner-up for the Southern Highlands Governor's seat, Joseph Kobol, has filed an application to challenge the declaration of SHP Governor William Poe. Grounds the petition was filed on include allegations of errors and omissions by the Electoral Commission during the counting period and the declaration on 29 September in Port Moresby. The petition alleges that an absolute majority was not reached when the declaration was made by the Electoral Commissioner. The matter will be mentioned at the Court of Disputed Returns on November 29. This is the 78th election petition filed so far. National EMTV News continues with more local stories when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back. Works Minister Michael Nali, who just completed a tour of major road networks in the Sepik region, says the country's economy and development agenda depends on road access. Minister Nali said the Momasa region holds the key to open up the country to the Asian market as the Sepik Coastal Highway is connected to Indonesia. He also said the national government will focus on road maintenance and upgrade for priority roads throughout the country.
This is the third leg of the Works Minister's road inspection, accompanied by Works Secretary David Were and West Sepik Governor Tony Wowo. They travel by road to see for themselves road conditions between East and West Sepik. Minister Nali said the road tour is to collect vital data on the country's priority road networks.
Reason why me come, no good me talk strong. Working road maintenance, na upgrading the road. Na me no got enough information. Na me go pile up nothing in a good place. So me round look. Man meri sira na samana.
The minister also inspected major damages along the Hawaiian River in Wewak and maintenance work at Matapau in the Aitape Lumi district. Also noted were the number of collapsed bridges. That is one of the many engineering challenges of the Sepik Coastal Highway.
Bridge to plenty time was government walking bridge. You know me no got control on nature, so waras I cut him nubla waterway belongen.
The Sepik tour was more than just a road inspection. It was to inspect a road network that holds a potential economic opportunity between PNG and Indonesia.
Looking importance long. Also, Tubla province me where me hook up with them. Nala country too long. West Papua, Indonesia. This is one blow road as well. International highway me stop inside the country me.
The current state of the country's economy may not allow for major works to start. However, Secretary Were says a collective effort is needed by all provincial and district governments in order to deliver proper roads and, more importantly, give access to people.
I think Minister Yumi Ramblong strong in this partnership, give him this message. So Yumi can work on them, provincial government, provincial administrators, district administrators, how Yumi scaling, looks have along. What amount of work can we start now? Consolidating effort. Teamwork, film also, you can maximize outcome on little resource you got.
Stanley Ove Jr., National EMTV News.
The Japanese International Cooperation Agency, or JICA, and PNG government institutions are working on improving the way waste is managed in the country. The absence of a national policy and strategy on waste and chemical management causes challenges caused by rapid urbanization and expansion of industrial activities, especially mining and oil, and the recent development of LNG. The first Joint Coordinating Committee has met and discussed the next phase of the project in the country and other Pacific Island countries as well.
Waste management in Port Moresby continues to be a challenge as PNG continues to develop. Although PNG does not have a waste management policy, National Capital District Commission's waste management policies have been utilized to develop the Baruni disposal site. JICA, through close partnership with stakeholders such as National Capital District Commission, Health Department, SEPA, Department of National Planning and Monitoring, provincial governments and others have been working on waste management activities. They held their first Joint Coordinating Committee discussion on the Japanese Technical Corporation of Promotion of Regional Initiative on Solid Waste Management Phase 2 program today.
J-Prism Phase 2 was developed based on the lessons learned in the Phase 1 from 2011 to 2016. I would like to emphasize the wonderful outcomes of the Phase 1 generated from PMZ, such as landfill rehabilitation and promotion for 3R Hard initiative. I believe that we can expand these lessons learned to improve waste management not only whole PNZ, but also all over the Pacific region.
Toyama said waste management is not only a technical issue, but the larger part of it is also to do with people's ethics and behavior, which is essential in the long-term sustainability of the plan. Stacey Yallo, National EMTV News.
His Eminence Cardinal Sir John Ribat says it's now time that men and boys are not to be seen as part of the problem, but a solution to collectively address gender-based violence. Cardinal Ribat, who is the chairman of the Papua New Guinea Christian Leaders Alliance on HIV and AIDS Secretariat, says member churches will work together to train and mentor men to become real fathers.
Father Heart International Program is a behavioral change focused training actively involving man to improve health and well-being, reduce gender inequality and address health problems like HIV and AIDS. His Eminence Cardinal Sir John Ribat says it's now time that men and boys are not to be seen as part of the problem, but the solution to collectively address gender-based violence.
When the preparation is not done, then the family suffers because the man sees him as the boss, and he does everything, and he controls the whole family. And at times, he thinks that he can do whatever he wants in the family, which is not right, because he's not recognizing the right of the children also, the right of the wife. And this is why it's important that something like this must happen in order to bring our fathers and also our young men, boys, to be aware of their responsibility and why to see us as being the image of God. And in our position of leadership, we are representing God in leading our communities, our families, and so on.
The Father Heart International Program is one of the Papua New Guinea Christian Leaders Alliance on HIV and AIDS Secretariat that will be channeled through member church networks in the country to train and mentor man to become real fathers or school him to help him man come up Papa through.
And therefore we have also the right to respect others and promote peace and the well-being of others also, and especially promote fair behavior and also to be of better security to the female. And especially now we hear again and again, and this is increasing. So that's why I thought that to embrace this program will really help us to address this great issue that is really affecting our society.
Cardinal Sir John Ribat says gender-based violence should be everyone's business, and measures like citizens' arrest will help eradicate violence in communities.
Reporting is a way really to bring us together to participate meaningfully in this, and therefore, maybe some of our fellows in the villages are saying that, oh, you may yet solve him. And I think in one way it's good, but also on the other hand, it's not helping the whole nation to see that this is a problem we must all face and try to address.
Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
Outgoing Special Services Division Commander Chief Superintendent Samson Kua has officially handed over command to incoming Commander Chief Superintendent Jim Namora. Kua will take up his new post as Acting Divisional Commander for Highlands Western End. The new postings are a directive from Police Commissioner Gary Baki.
The handover took place at the SSD Directorate headquarters in Port Moresby. Outgoing Commander Samson Kua highlighted the challenges the Directorate went through in the last 4 years when he was in charge. Kua joined the SSD Directorate as a young officer and has over 20 years of experience in SSD.
SSD has been a very it's been a division that has stand the test of time. You all are aware that we've been through a lot of things, stand-off, university unrest, various land issues around the country, reference to Hides, Pogara, the current election 2017. We've even lost 2 of our men during the elections.
SSD or Mobile Squad is a special unit in the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary. Unlike other police units, SSD is not restricted to a certain area of operation. Instead, it operates throughout the country under the directive of the commander. They respond to state of emergency cases and at times provide escort for government officials, including diplomats.
Well, he doesn't leave because he wants to. It is a directive that he has to comply to. Likewise, it is a directive that I leave my post as PPC for West New Britain and come here.
Incoming Commander and former West New Britain Police Commander Jim Namora acknowledged the leadership Kua provided as head of SSD in the last 4 years. Namora said SSD will be heavily involved in the security operations for the APEC Summit in 2018. Thus, it will need the support from Kua because of his experience in the Directorate.
Not be here because I have something that I have to attend to back at Kimber. I have to deliver the PNG games, and also there's a current operation running parallel with the PNG games. So I will go back, make sure that these things are done properly, the PNG games is completed satisfactorily, and then I'll come back. Meantime,
Namora said while it is a directive from the head of our PNGC to assume the post, he will do so after he leads the security operations for the 2017 PNG Games in West New Britain. Thakla Gunga, National EMTV News.
You're watching National EMTV News. We'll have more stories after the break. Welcome back to the news. Teams of postgraduate business students at UPNG School of Business yesterday showed the skills they learned during their 3 years of studies. Called the Masters Pinnacle 2017, more than 200 students, staff and visitors attended. More than 20 students will be graduating from the program.
The theme of the event was corporate social responsibility and corporate governance. Activities during the event involved a debate, quizzes and the presentation of business plans.
Totally we have around 90 students, all the programs together. And our school is the only school in the country producing so many number of master's students. And next year we are planning to offer a new program called Graduate Diploma in Corporate Governance. And about this program Pinnacle, we started our MBA program in 2003. Pinnacle was first organized in 2004. And this program aims to demonstrate the knowledge, skill and talent of our master students of MBA program. We take people with experience only. This being a master's management program, we are more focused on experienced people because management program is all about sharing the experiences and knowledge. It's not only reading from books, it's sharing their experiences and connecting what they have read in the book with the real world situation.
The lead-up event started last Saturday when the group of over 20 students went to Hanoabada village to donate food, clothes and other household items. The students then staged a blood drive event where several of them donated blood on Tuesday. The postgraduate students have field experience and have returned to upskill themselves. The program is aimed at training management-level employees for better decision-making in their organizations.
I would like to challenge any organizations. If you are viewing these comments here or interview here, I would like you to send your officers whom you think would be capable. Every good leader wants to build someone to take their place. The seat that you are sitting on is not your seat. It's to be transferred to someone who is coming up. So it is your job, your responsibility to at least upskill someone to take your place.
Harry Gimbari, National NTV News.
Coastal Shipping is celebrating its 50th anniversary of providing shipping services in Papua New Guinea. The shipping business, founded by late Sir Henry Chow, has become one of the successful businesses in the country. The Chow family gathered in a small ceremony and commemorated the existence of the family business that was first established in Rabaul in 1967.
Coastal Shipping has a long rich history in the shipping industry in Papua New Guinea. The company, founded by the late Sir Henry Chow in 1967, was a business that flourished over time, despite economic pressures of starting a business in the 1960s under a colonial administration. In a small but significant ceremony earlier this week, the family came together to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the shipping business. Sir Henry spent most of his life in Rabaul with his family, following their great-grandparents who first arrived from China to work for the Germans in the German territory in the late 1800s. Sir Henry, who grew up to become a shipbuilder, ventured out from the then family's bakery business and established Towboy Shipbuilding Company, which later became the Coastal Shipping Services, and over the last 50 years, it grew from strength to strength. Coastal Shipping is a household name in Rabaul town, as it is from here that the business was first established, and over its 50 years of services, the family business survived not only the goodwill but also hardships. The business survived the 1994 volcanic eruption in Rabaul, and also it played an important role during the evacuation process during the eruption.
Many people will need to be evacuated on the Matapit, Bai village, Nordup and Matalau and Koroi area.
Not only that, Coastal Shipping was the main freighter of medical supplies delivered to the devastated areas in Buka and Keita during the Bougainville Civil War. Today, Coastal Shipping Services is rendered as one of the successful businesses in the country and a role model business where its profile helped mold and shape the shipping industry in Papua New Guinea in recent times. Edwin Fidelis, National NTV News, Kokopo.
All forms of violence in the country are contributing factors to what's stopping it from moving forward and developing. This was the message from the NCD Governor and state agencies who will be dedicating tomorrow's Walk for Life to address gender-based violence. The walk is themed Emin Up Now, Stopping Violence, and will begin at 5 a.m. at the Marbarracks Rugby Field.
Gender-based violence continues to become an alarming issue in the country and has largely been seen up to now as a women's issue. And City Governor Paus Pakop says despite the efforts of NGOs, church groups and state agencies, the prevalence of gender-based violence and violence is getting worse. He described it as an emergency in the country.
It's an emergency because the not just the level, but also the type of violence is getting horrific, terrible. It's an embarrassment to all of us. It's a testament to the type of people we are, the values that we hold, and the behaviors that we have to tolerate and engage in this type of low moral activities. So clearly, it's not a challenge that women on their own can solve. The men, being the main perpetrators, must come to the equation. They must stand up. I expect them to stand up.
Last month was also the month of domestic violence. It was an unfortunate time with media reports of women who have lost their lives to domestic violence. And one in particular was Post-Courier journalist Rosalind Albaniel, which brought to light that domestic violence is experienced by women in all levels of society. The organizing committee for tomorrow's walk believes they cannot change people's mindsets overnight, but to carry out the message that violence, and especially gender-based violence, is everyone's business. They want to make the message clear that society rejects this type of behavior. Meanwhile, the event is also a lead-up to the 20 days of activism of human rights, which will focus on gender-based violence on the 12th of November. Marilyn Diaukatam, National EMTV News.
5 winners have been announced for the Telecom Festive Season Cash Giveaway promotion yesterday. The winners will be walking away with 1,000 kina each. They were picked from an electronic system by Telecom CEO Xavier Victor and other representatives of the company. The phone numbers of the winners have been published on the Telecom Facebook page.
5 winners came from around the country. Telecom customers will have to top up their mobile phone credits either through the right prepaid card or electronically of 20 kina or more.
Won 1,000 kina each. The winners will get an SMS from us shortly. We have 95,000 kina more to give away. We want to congratulate the first 5 winners. Apparently, all our first 5 winners came from our 3G, 4G network.
The telecommunication company says its business goal is to make communication affordable and available around the country. The draw will run from November till February 2018.
To qualify for the draw, the minimum recharge is 20 kina. Whether you recharge through our right prepaid card, through our online portal, self-care, using your Visa card or debit card, or you get a e-voucher from BSB ATMs anywhere near the customers, to our Paycom or EVC. All different channels are allowed.
Telecom also extended its corporate social responsibility to donating 5,000 kina at UPNG School of Business to stage the Master's Pinnacle. The company is also sponsoring a master's student attending the executive management class at the university. Harry Gimbari, National EMTV News.
Chukai Sports is next. Don't go away.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. In football, Port Moresby-based PMSA Women's are the champion of the Besta Cup Women's Grand Final in Lae, defeating Simbu 3-0. Meanwhile, in the men's grand final saw a tough and entertaining clash between Hood Soccer Lagoons and Morbe Football Association, with the Morbians winning by 3-2.
Port Moresby-based PMSA and Simbu kicked off the day's proceedings at the PNGFA Academy in Lae. PMSA failed to register points after some smart ball play. The momentum of the game swayed back and forth, with both teams eager to get on the scoreboard. But at halftime, PMSA held their head up high with 1 point. The Port Moresby side started the second half with much enthusiasm, immediately producing results. PMSA's productive ability were found wanting near the Simbu goalmouth, looking more agile. However, shots fired seemed to lack velocity and power. On the other side, weight seemed to be a disadvantage to the Simbu girls, and PMSA used that to their advantage, with Gloria Lyally breaking through Simbu's defense and scoring. Ability was key to PMSA's attack and defense, with substitute Georgina Colden producing immediate results coming off the bench that would see PMSA crowned queens of Besta Cup women's competition. The men's clash, Hoods Lagoon scored the first goal through a penalty to get them off the mark. However, both sides matched with skills, but height was in Morobe Football Association's favour and it soon paid off. Both sides desperate to score after the equalizer. Hoods would keep the Morobeans busy with several close calls on goal. Morobe replied with some quick transition and footwork in the middle area, causing havoc on their opponents. That eventually scored their second to lead by 2 goals to Hoods 1 at half-time. The second half got off on a slow pace, with both sides showing signs of fatigue. Both teams had chances at goal. Then a daring run by Lakawalo saw the gamble paid off for Hoods, tying the match at 2-2. But the Morobeans had the last say. That silenced the Hood supporters with the final goal to win the match by 3-2. Shane Saroya, National EMTV Sports.
Hohola's off-season rugby league competition today sent a 24-man squad, including team officials, to the Aroma Coast in the Central Province to participate in a trial match in preparations for Coca-Cola Ipatas Cup. Satisfied for the team's achievement was President Lakape Penge and Chairman Sama Stalin. Proud team manager Raymond Michael says all the players in the team deserve to be in the squad and will represent the suburb of Hohola in the Ipatas Cup for the first time. Trukai Sport continues after the break. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. To athletics, the 400-meter Olympic and world champion Wade van Niekerk has suffered a blow with the track superstar ruled out by a serious knee injury. The track superstar was expected to be one of the biggest international draw cards at the Gold Coast Commonwealth Games in April. The South African tore his anterior cruciate ligament while playing in a celebrity touch rugby event in Cape Town last month. Van Niekerk's management and company confirmed the star sprinter is expected to face 6 months of rehabilitation to make full recovery. And that ends Trukai Sports. The weather details up next.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Looking at the weather for southern region, mostly fine in Port Moresby, Daru and Alotau, a shower or two in Kerema and rain showers in Popondetta.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
And that's been the news, sports and weather this Saturday, 4th of November 2017. From the news team, good night.